fingertips. Now you can get the Californian on your schedule, anytime, anywhere, any place. Get your new Bakersfield Californian e-edition today. Visit eedition.bakersfield.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Exciting to be back with you. We want to thank our dear studio audience, but in particular, Beverly Martin. And she's all the way from Wyoming. And she's sitting in our studio. So thank you, Beverly.
You bet. Well, we're going to get right at this. We've got about 12 minutes, and with us we have a very distinguished man here in Bakersfield, Dr. James Turner, a doctor of chiropractic.
That's right.
And I'll tell you, he sure sets me straight and keeps me straight. But he has talked to me about what he calls the posture crisis in our society due to technology. What are we talking about here, Jim?
Well, this affects people from the ages of about 3 years old to 90. And it's because of iPhones, iPads, and computers. And we're bent over all day long at these new technological devices, and it's causing a problem with our posture.
And you're seeing it in your practice.
Yes.
And what's the problem?
Well, I have a little chart up here. If you can put it on the screen, we'll explain
there
that.
it is.
Oh, here it is. All right, let's just talk over that.
Okay. First of all, I'm not an evolutionist, so I do believe Genesis 1:27 that we are created in God's image. But this is kind of a representation, like the monkey that's bent over, and then we, after a while, staying erect, then we'll get back to the computer age where we're bent over again. But I like to bring it to the fetal position. When we are in a mother's womb and when you're born, a newborn baby is still curled in the fetal position. And then after a while, it starts to stretch out, it crawls, it brings the head up, starts to develop the curves, and then the child will actually stand up, and then with gravity, the body's erect. And then the muscles, ligaments, and tendons start to do what they're supposed to do. The body's flexible, functions good, and the body works the way it's supposed to. But with work and as you get older and wear and tear and stress, the body starts to have problems with the posture. Until we get to this, the last 10, 15 years, especially with iPhones and iPads, I see like little 2-year-old, 3-year-old kids in my office bend over these phones, and I always question Mama, how long are they doing this? And 2, 3, 4 hours a day. And they're bent over like this. So that's a problem that I'm seeing in my practice.
Right. I see it all the time. Everyone out there kind of like this, hunched over.
That's right.
Okay.
And what is that causing, Jim? Is in medical terms, do you have a term for that?
What it does, it causes several different phenomena in the body. So let me talk about what the normal body should look like. I brought my little friend here.
Okay.
Stay right on the microphone there.
Sorry, this is the spine. So you have 3 curves in the spine. This should look like this, and we're talking about the side view. So you should have a forward curve in the neck, backward curve in the mid-back, forward curve in the low back. Pelvis should be rocked a little bit forward, like this. Oh. And what happens when we sit for extended periods of time, the pelvis will rock forward like this, and you'll lose that curve in the low back, the lumbar curve. So you lose that lordosis, and then the mid-back will start to curve forward. You'll lose the neck curve. They'll come forward also. So the body will be in a slumped or what we call a sway back position, like this. So what happens in repetitive injury, like a person does a factory job, same thing over and over and over, the body starts to lock in this position. And you start getting adhesions in this position, the body starts to stay in this position. I was watching 3 boys walk across the street the other day at a stoplight, and they were all bent over like vultures. They were walking, looking at their toes, walking down the street. And they weren't doing iPads. They were just walking. And that's the problem that I'm seeing at this point.
Well, is that a mental thing that people walk and looking down at their feet? Or what is that?
Well, if they're looking for rocks, yeah.
Jim, when you walk down the street, what are you conscious of doing with your body?
Yes.
Well, what happens with this slump position, the pelvis will come forward, and you slump like this, and then the head comes forward. It's because of gravity. Remember, gravity puts pressure on our body 14 pounds per square inch. So if we're up and erect, if everything's functioning good, no problem. But if you're back like this, the pelvis will lock and rock forward, and it will be locked like that. You'll lose that low back curve. The body will come forward, the shoulders will roll forward, neck will come forward, and then we're stuck like that. Things will harden up, ligaments, tendons, and muscles. So that's what we do, is I try to reverse that process.
Jim, do you have a case that you can tell us about without names of someone that maybe had a severe problem and you helped correct it?
I'd say 50% of practice has this problem.
Wow.
And I'm different than a lot of chiropractors, a lot of doctors. I take a side view of the whole spine along with the front view, but the side view shows me from the skull down to the pelvis what is going on with the body so we can correct it. So we correct it by adjusting the vertebra, get motion back into the joints, get the body pliable again, get the pinching off the nerve roots, get the body functioning the way it should, and then we can redirect it in the normal posture. We use pelvic wedges, like to sit. It's a wedge in the you sit on, and it actually rocks the pelvis back where it belongs, gets that low back curve back. And then we use lifts in the shoes sometimes, supports in the back sometimes, the neck if necessary. And then we also do down the road exercises. And then when you go to the gym, the body can stay in this position.
I understand in athletics, they say that the key to training is the core of the body, the stomach muscles
yes,
that
the
hold you
core.
erect. Your thoughts?
Well, that's true, but remember the muscles hold the skeletal system in place. So what happens if the muscles are locked out of position? If you have a curvature in the spine or you've lost curvature like on the side view I'm talking about, when you exercise, you're strengthening the body in a weakened position. So you're actually making the body stronger in this slumped over position. And I see this a lot with young people lifting weights. They get hurt because they're lifting weights and they're doing they're pushing the body and it's not balanced, so the body gives. And things
Jim, I understand that you have a background in engineering.
Yes.
In the way things ought to fit and go together, and that's kind of been a tremendous help to you in your profession. Tell us about that.
Right. Well, with my X-rays, in college I was at University of Pacific, and in fact I played football at Pete Carroll, Seahawks. Okay,
Wow.
so
Wow.
yeah, so that's kind of fun. But I did have an engineering and math background, and I use a lot of that in my analysis of my X-rays. So we determine how the body's off balance, out of position, and then we take post X-rays down the road, usually in a few months, to make sure we have that correction. Once we have the correction, then we institute the exercises, get the body functioning.
Wow. Well, I can tell you, I hurt my back recently moving big boulders around my property, and I could barely put one foot in front of the other, and this guy's got me going
He's the
again.
one
So
that got you
he's
straight.
the one. He's the one. So I pay him great credit.
Jim, what do you say to people who, sometimes they're working and they put their phone like this and they're working and what?
That's another repetitive problem. I'm seeing a lot of people with torticollis, that's the neck stuck over like this.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a problem. And they say,
Yeah.
how did this happen? I just woke up like this. Well, it's a process.
It's a
Your body
process.
goes off balance, out of position. So we work to get it back where it belongs and keep it there, and then coach the people with exercise and so on, like I said, to keep it there.
It's interesting about posture sitting down. Jim says, we need to sit with a support for our lower back. That my practice to sit down in my comfortable leather easy chair and put my feet up on the hassock and slump back is terrible. I mean, that's not good, is it?
No. Can I give you 3 simple exercises
Yes.
you can do for the shoulders when they're rounded? Can you two help me?
Sure.
Okay, the first one at home, get a little PVC pipe like this or a broom handle and press up. We'll do 5, 1, all the way up, 2, 3,
Got my sport coat on.
4, 5. You do this, and then the next one, bring the arms out like this. Thumbs backward, big circles backward. We'll just do about 5. There you go. The last one, hands behind the head, and then bring the elbows backward. Stretch back. Stretch all the way
Okay.
back. Stretch back. You can't do that.
Kinda
Stretch back. Okay, so those 3 there, those are 3 of the many we do, but that brings the shoulders up that are rounded. So once we get the body moving and flexible, then we bring it up and back like that.
And those you can do those anywhere, can't you? Sitting
Yeah,
in
we
your
have
cubicle?
people do like 15 of those a day, but it's very effective, yes.
Very.
Do you have that little information on your website, those little exercise points to?
Not at this point, yeah.
Okay. We can get a model to help you
Sure.
get that on your website. Wow. What else would you like to share with us, Jim, before we have to go?
Well, the nervous system is the most important system of the body. It controls all the bodily functions, both the
Okay.
musculoskeletal system and the organs. So if it is compromised with the posture or the vertebra being subluxated out of position, you're not going to be healthy. Because remember, the organs go to the head, neck, and face, the heart, lungs, stomach, liver, kidneys, bladder, sexual organs, all the body parts, glands, the digestive system is all controlled by the nervous system. So if you get that balanced, then the body will function better. So that's our ultimate goal. We get in the
Okay.
posture balance, the body works better, functions better, people are more healthy.
Wonderful.
That's got to be a very satisfying profession to
I like
see
it.
people come. You know, I remember my dad. I've actually seen my dad be carried into a chiropractic office on a door. I mean, he couldn't walk and come walking out of that office, and that made me a believer as a young boy, watching what men were able to do to my father's problems.
Thank you,
We've
Chris.
got information here about Jim Turner. I think he's got a lot of advice to share, and he'd be willing to share it with you if you needed. Dr. Jim Turner, and it's Chiro Manager, MNGR, at yahoo.com. And right over here, just off Truxton Avenue at 327-7838, down by Bercy Hospital.
That's right.
Right on, yeah, just about a block away. Jim,
Thank
you're
you.
a great guy, and you're.
Thank you.
This is important information,
Thank
and,
you.
and
Yes.
if you've got more that you think you'd like to share, we'd like to have you
Okay.
come back on. And
Be
what
fun.
might that be? What other things do you think people really need to hear about?
Well, especially with people aging, with arthritis in the body, and people are getting fusions a lot, neck and back. And I ran into a fellow this morning. He said, I had my neck fused. I'm having severe pain since then, and it's because of gravity. So a lot of things I can talk about how you can cope with that and get
Okay.
relief naturally without being addicted to drugs.
Jim, thank you very much. Tina,
Until next time.
and your husband, God bless you as you go to Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, to greet visitors from around the world.
Thank you, Don. And thank you all for joining us today, our live studio audience, and all around the world.
God bless.